Yes, people, we are back live. We are back live on the Sarcasm City TV YouTube for another Sarcasm City TV Sports special, people. Sarcasm City TV Sports special. It is a series I started about 2-3 weeks ago. I started where I do a one-on-one interview with just someone who's very well known, whether that's a content creator, whether that's a musician, whether that's an influencer, or whatever the case may be. There is a link not a link in the channel. There's a playlist for it on the channel in regards to the Sarcasm City TV specials, people. So make sure you check that out. I've had Lee Gunner on, I've had Daps on from Never a Foul, Don Hassam, Saeed as well, and I will continue to get more people and continue the series as well. I always try and bring the Sarcasm City TV community the best possible content, and it's Christmas. And this was set up today, people. This was set up today. So please make sure, whether you're watching this live right now or watching this back afterwards, hit the like button on the video. Vitally important you do that. Hit that like button. Share this across all of the socials as well. And subscribe to the channel, Sarcasm City TV. And when you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell when you do that. All those things help people. And the special guest I've got on for this one, absolutely huge guest, special guest when it comes to the content creator space. And when it comes to the content creator space also, we talk about longevity, we talk about quality, we talk about consistency, and many people don't hit all of those three. But I think this special guest is extremely slept on, because not only has he been around from like the early stages, before I was in this, he was around, I was watching this, you know what I'm saying? I always tell him I knew him before he knew me. You know what I'm saying? So in terms of the longevity, the consistency, because there's a lot of people who are around back then who are not around now. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to longevity, consistency, and just the sheer quality as well. That's why you see him on his own channel, which is just shy of 30k subs. You might see him on Don Robbie. You might have seen him on Don Robbie. You might have seen him on Sky. You might have seen him here on Sarcasm City TV as well, because he's helped me tremendously when it comes to this channel. I always say it, he was the first non-Manchester United content creator to put me on. I'm saying, so I always salute him for that. So outside of all those things, is my brother as well. But you have to give people their flowers while they're here. So I want everyone in the chat to big him up, and welcome to the channel again, man. Like Mr. Carefree Lewis G. Yes, family.
Yes, bro. What are you saying, man? What an intro as well. Genuinely appreciate it. Big up yourself, my guy. Well, what are you saying, bro? What are you telling me?
I'm blessed, man. Looking forward to this. Because like we talk on a regular basis, like pretty much every day. It's like that's why this hasn't come around yet. So it's good to actually be talking to you one-on-one on a live stream, rather than on a Q&A, or rather than on another show where we can actually delve into topics, you know what I'm saying, in a lot of detail. But yeah, man, I'm blessed for coming on as always. Much appreciated. You get what I'm saying?
Every time, bro. Every time. You know what it is.
So we are going to get into all things Chelsea, people. As you can see from the title, is it all bad for Chelsea? Because it seems, and I've watched this closely, whether it's talking to Lewis, whether it's watching other content creators, the likes of Matisse, or watching or other panelists on the channel as well, or just on social media, how it's really gone from bad to worse for Chelsea. Because it was roses at the start of the season for Chelsea. Tuchel was in.
Hey, for some people, not for me.
Well, for some, yeah, not for you.
You know me. I've been saying this season's going to be shit since the end of the summer.
This is true.
I just didn't think it would be this bad. But
that's probably a better way to say it then. Yeah,
it's going to get worse before it gets better. But that all depends on your well, not even your standards. It depends on what you expect. You think Chelsea are going to compete for top 4? Cool. We'll see at the end of the season. You're probably going to be a lot more disappointed than I am. If you have already acknowledged this team ain't good enough, it is what it is till the end of the season. We're in friendly mode. And yeah, you know how we said it a couple of times on your Q&As? This is like Manchester United last season, where you're just a little bit like, you're not in the mud, but you're in limbo. And you're waiting for the right manager to take you aboard. The thing is, the manager isn't the problem for us. It's just a squad. This squad needs a massive overhaul. And as soon as that's done, then we can be a serious club. Until then, this is banter era Chelsea. And it is what it is. Just don't expect this team to reach your standards. That's why I don't have any for this season.
We're gonna get into all of that. Big up Peter. You know what I'm saying? Who says big up my niggas? You know what I'm
Big
saying?
up. And
Who's
everyone hit the likes as well. If there's only
yes.
4 likes, you are taking a
Yeah,
piss.
hit the likes, get the likes up. So big up to Peter every single time. You'll see him on this channel. You'll see him on Lewis's channel as well. Shout out my little bro who's in the building. I don't know why he's not asleep, but here we are. I think he's awake and he's not supposed to be. But don't worry, little bro, I won't snitch on you. But yeah. Big up Dennis the Great who says Chelsea as well.
Chelsea. Even if we're shit.
Jesus, big up to Paul as well, who says, hi guys, watch the Q&A back at work. Funny, yes, you heard it right. Mount is a 90 million pound player. One of the half of him 45 million. Timo, stop already. Go and check out the last Q&A we did, people, where myself, Timo, and others on the panel, and a sick winter surfer was that annoyed by what Timo was saying. He was on stream. Yeah, he jumped on the stream to say I'm sick. Like, yeah. And he was talking about Mason Mount being 90 million, Bellingham being worth 70, but Bellingham's a better player than Mount. It was all crazy. And then he said English tax. So we were like, Bellingham's English though. So hey, shout out to Timo. Like that's what he is.
Guy, but that's my guy.
Yeah, exactly that. King Kelvin says class intro. Galib says big up guys. And Peter says we're tanking to avoid green Europa League. We're talking about the Conference League, people. So let's start there, Lewis. You mentioned it already. What is now your realistic aim for the season for Chelsea? Because you've already stated categorically you thought it was going to be bad at the start. It's even worse now. So where do you stand in? What is the aim? Is it top 7? Is it avoid the Conference League? Is it get into the Europa League? Is it avoid Europe altogether? Is it top 4 and the FA Cup? Are you looking at the Champions League? Let us know.
I don't know. That's the thing. Like, our aim's always going to be top 4, isn't it? But we're not making top 4. So I'm not going to spend the whole season being stressed out, we're going to make top 4, we're going to reach it. No, we're not going to reach it. It is what it is. Yeah. I don't necessarily want us to be in the Europa League or even the Conference League, but I understand we still have to be competitive. So we have to say top 4 is an aim, but realistically, we're looking at top 6 or top 7. Even though it doesn't really help us in the long run, that Thursday to Sunday workload is just unnecessary for a full season. And I've seen us be in the Europa League. I've seen us batter the Europa League, despite it looking painful, and win it. I don't really care if we finish 6th or 7th. Yeah. If we finish 7th and go into the Conference League, it might be good just to have it, but I still don't really want to be there. Even though it could just be a competition for the youth. Just throw the whole development squad in there, see how far they go. Yeah. I wouldn't mind. But in terms of standards, like, I don't think we're making top 4. That's probably our target. Our target would be to win the FA Cup, but we got City away in the first round, so I don't think that's happening. The Champions League, I don't think this squad's capable of that sort of miracle. And if they are, shit, then maybe I don't really understand football, but we're not winning the Champions League anyway. So I've got no expectations for this season. Genuinely none. Where we finish is where we finish. If we manage to finish in the top 4, I'll wake up, but it's not happening. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe we finish top 6, maybe we finish lower. I don't care. As long as we rebuild and we come back next season with a better squad. That to me is the target. Just next season.
Next season. So you really do sound like me as a Manchester United fan talking about last
season. We're in vibes.
This is the crazy part. Like, and where's the crazy part? You've witnessed me in vibes, and now I'm witnessing you in vibes. We've been on Shameless FC.
Bro.
You've witnessed me. Go make sure you check out Shameless FC.
But the difference is losses are still going to hurt me way more. Just because I can't bear watching Chelsea lose, even though I know we're shit. Yeah. It's like every game is just another painful reminder that we're not good enough. So it will still hurt me more, but that's the only difference.
Don't get mistaken. It hurt me, but I was just to the point where actually no.
I couldn't tell with you, bro.
It got to the point where I was numb. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like being in that terrible relationship and you know the gal ain't shit. That's where I was at with Manchester United. This gal ain't shit. She gonna cheat on me. She ain't gonna be there for me emotionally.
No, but
she ain't
even
gonna be
when
there
I
for me
think that's
physically.
gonna happen, though. We pull out a game where we should win, but then again we fuck ourselves, and then it just drags me straight back into that mode of being pissed off. Like the Arsenal game. I thought we were gonna get battered and lose like 6-0 at our own yard. and it was going to be one of the most humiliating results I've seen in my life. We just lost 1-0 off a shitty corner kick, and we could have won the game.
Yeah.
Realistically, we could have won the game, but it was just the same players letting us down from what could have been a very winnable game into a loss again. And things could have been completely different without that. Maybe we go to the City game with a bit more confidence. Maybe we go into a Newcastle game with a bit more confidence. But no, we have an unbelievably demoralizing loss to Arsenal that should have been a 3-point win. And then it still makes you think the squad's capable of pulling results. It's just the application is not there. That's why, to a point, I get people still hyping some of these players, but it's like, be real. The application is the issue. You could say about what they're good at, how good they were a year or two ago. They don't apply themselves anymore. And that's what lets us down. That's why I've lost faith in a lot of them. Because as much as the hype is there, the application is not.
Well, that's fair. So it seems, like I said, you are, because you're in the early stages of grief with it. Because like when I was at it with Manchester United, that's where I was. But by the time I'm doing Shameless and talking to you, I'm 2-3 years in. So at that point, I'm just like, all right, we just need to get through to get to the light at the end of the tunnel, because there was no light at the end of the tunnel.
It's just
the
a
tunnel
long
had collapsed.
tunnel.
Yeah, it was just the tunnel had collapsed. There was nowhere to go. So you said there in regards to Chelsea this season, you're literally stating you have no expectations whatsoever, because you're saying Premier League, you're not finishing in the top 4. Do you think you finish top 7?
Top 7 can happen.
So
I could see that happen.
You could finish 5th, 6th, 7th. You could see that happening.
5th, 6th is a bit more of a question, because then it's who drops off. Arsenal won't drop off.
Yeah.
United won't drop off. City won't drop off. Liverpool look better than us and are above us. Although actually, I'll take back they look better than us. They really don't, but they're getting better results. And the same thing as Tottenham. Tottenham are the only team in the top 6 right now that I could see drop off because they don't play sustainable football. But they still get results. So I can't say it with full chest right now. We're the only ones playing badly and not getting results. So I don't know if we make top 6. 7th could happen, but even that's a bit of a stretch. I don't know where we finish, because it could be anywhere between 6th to, I don't know, God forbid, 10th again if things really go bad. But I don't think it'll get that bad. You'll probably see a 7th or an 8th.
7th or 8th. So you're saying no Premier League top 4, no. You're looking at 6 onwards, 6 to 10. Obviously, you're already out of the League Cup. The FA Cup, you have City, so that's going to be very tough to get through. So you're already looking ahead to next season. And you've mentioned this many a time, and you've mentioned it already on this show in regards to the squad and blowing it up, and how you don't rate even the majority of your players that are rated by your fan base, and we'll just go off social media here, you don't seem to rate. I've heard you mention about minus Reece James, Thiago Silva, and like the new players who have just landed, your Aubameyangs and Sterling. Chilwell, obviously, he got injured. You would sell the entire squad. So where are you at with that in regards to the squad? Would you legit move him on? Yeah.
Kovacic, I'm not too sure whether he wants to be here or not, but on ability, I'd keep him. I'd keep Chalobah.
Yeah.
The new signings will get to the end of the season. Chilwell, like I already said, he's still coming back from the ACL. I don't mind giving him a season. That's about it. Anyone else could realistically go, and I'm fine with it. I'll throw Gallagher and Brozier in there too, just because I'll give Gallagher a year. Okay. And even with limited game time, he's still one of our highest chance creators. I don't mind. I'll give him time. That's it. Everyone else, they could realistically leave, and I wouldn't really be... Even the likes of Jorginho and Kante, I wouldn't mind them staying as rotation, but they shouldn't be starting for us anyway. So if they leave, I don't really care.
Because it's not starters you're losing. At best case scenario, they should be rotational pieces, like you said, squad players.
Jorginho could give us leadership as well. Someone in the dressing room to help with a younger squad. That might help. But again, if he was to leave, I don't mind. There'll be other players coming in and we'll fix that situation anyway.
I fully hear that. Everybody in the chat as well, get your questions in. I will start them. We'll towards the end of the show, I'll answer any Chelsea questions you have for Lewis or any other questions. Feel free to get them in. Like I said, I'm starring them. Big up everyone that's locked in. There's over 40 of you lot locked in. Let's bump up the likes. Let's subscribe to the channel Sarcasm City TV, and make sure you go subscribe to Lewis's channel as well, Carefree Lewis G. The link's underneath in the description. I'm going to add it to the title as well. And you mentioned it in terms of Gallagher and creating chances. You put out a tweet because, you know, you're always hilarious, and it's always hilarious on Twitter. And the tweet was something, it was numbers, and it was something along the lines of Aspilicueta, I believe, creating more chances than Mount and Havertz per 90. And Mason Mount and Kai Havertz are two very polarizing figures in your fan base. I see them split opinions a lot. Why it is, I don't know. From the outside looking in as a Manchester United fan, I don't
Champions
understand
League
why
final
these two.
tax, bro.
Yeah, Champions
It's
League
like why
final.
Ole got so much time from your fans when he was manager.
Yes.
Champions League final tax.
Because he was a player, and I've seen that. Because when I look at these two, I'm like, I don't get it. So where do you now currently stand on Mount? So 2 questions. Where do you stand on Mount, first and foremost? And secondly, how do you respond to people who praise him and think he's good enough and criticize you for criticizing him?
I don't know. I just think a lot of Mount stands are just very sensitive. Even this whole Stan thing in general is like, you're defending someone like they're your lover and they don't know you. They really don't know you. If they see you, they'll take a picture with you and forget about you in a minute. I don't understand half the energy. Like, back the club with that sort of energy, because the players, like the Mount, I would have given a bit of more patience to if he wasn't here trying to ask for 200 to 300k a week. He doesn't deserve anything near like that, and he's in the worst form of his career. Have some shame. In terms of the player, like, I think there's a good 8 in there, but the application, yet again, isn't there. The open play creativity is a joke. His weight of pass is horrific, and that's not something that you can coach. That's something that the player specifically needs to be good at. And it's been what's held Chelsea back for a while, because we rely on the ball being fed through him, the ball being fed through Kai. One doesn't make passes, and the other one overhits all of their passes. And then why are we talking about a creativity issue? Because it's the same 2 that we rely on. It goes right back to it.
Sorry, I gotta stop you. You see that right there, people, is why Lewis is one of the best content creators in the game. That delivery right there is A1. If Mount and Havertz had that type of delivery, you wouldn't be talking about creativity. Because the way
and Aubameyang would have another 10 goals minimum.
Yeah.
Which,
sorry,
by the way,
cut you off.
we all go straight to Aubameyang and Sterling. Well, a lot of fans do. So the ones who will criticize Mount and Havertz will be the ones giving energy to Sterling and Aubameyang. And that per 90 thing as well. I saw a lot of people quote tweeting me saying, "Oh, per 90 favors the substitutes and everything." So why is Sterling second? When Sterling has started basically every league game for us. And even though he's been playing like shit under Potter, he's still averaging 1 or 2 clear-cut chances a game. Meanwhile, Mount isn't. Havertz is doing less. Aubameyang, like I've said, all I need for him to do is finish chances. I know he's not bringing me anything else. And we signed him for what, 15, 20 million on the wrong side of 30? I'm not expecting him to carry a game by the scruff of its neck or anything like that. Just feed him chances and he has to finish them. At that point, then it's all on him. But we're not doing that because we're relying on the likes of Mount and Havertz. Mount should be asking for 150k a week with a 1 or 2 year extension if he was being serious about proving himself and being serious about Chelsea. But no, he's asking for 200k a week. And I don't understand the reasoning for it. If it's the 2-time Player of the Year award thing, that's a fan vote, which is all opinion based. And how Thiago Silva didn't win that award last season is beyond me. In terms of his form, last season he hid behind goals and assists to save his life. And fair enough, because he was our highest GNA last season, but his performances were inconsistent. 2021, he was a baller. That's fine. I'm not going to say anything about that season. Right. I haven't seen that player since. And he played in the 10s for a good period then too. He's just not applying himself. So as of right now, should not be getting that contract. Should be getting a much lower wage. And if he doesn't want that, get rid. This isn't a De Bruyne. This isn't a Salah. It's whatever if we lose Mount. We'll move on. We moved on from De Bruyne and won countless trophies, even though we regretted the move. Because that's what clubs do. They move on. shouldn't have to rely on Mason Mount, who is doing absolutely nothing for us. And the over-reliance is the reason why we're 8th. But what do I know, eh?
And I was going to ask you, and you kind of went into it, but I was going to ask the same about Kai Havertz as well in regards to him as a player. You seem much more stronger with your criticism of him and would sell him like immediately. Like, I know if you could get rid of him January 1st, you would. Have you seen
First
nothing
available
from him?
buyer.
First
At
available
least
buyer.
Mount has given me some consistency over the last 4 years. Mount deserved to be player of the season in 2021.
Okay.
Mount was our best attacker last season, in spite of his inconsistencies. Kai Havertz has done nothing. He's done genuinely nothing except score an open goal and a penalty. It is the easiest legacy I have ever seen. In terms of the player, I don't know what he produces for me. Barely makes any clear-cut chances. Barely takes on players. His finishing is genuinely atrocious. He can head. I'll give him that. He's got good aerial threat. That's it. That's genuinely it. Even the touch ain't there no more. And then the passing, like I've said, is genuinely non-existent. He just doesn't pass unless he's in like acres of space and all the time in the world. And even then, he doesn't do it consistently. I look back to the Arsenal game. I say we should have won that game because of Kai Havertz. And if he had any sort of creative outlet, he would have found Aubameyang in 2 very easy positions in the first 15 minutes. Aubameyang would have scored those chances because seriously, he's not missing those easy chances. And then Havertz is made to look more creative, and we've seen him show it in a big game. Aubameyang has scored against Arsenal, and the complete consensus on him being a failure is U-turned. And we probably win because defensively we did our job. We got battered in midfield. We didn't really do much in attack other than those 2 clear-cut chances that Havertz missed. And then other than that, we did our job. We conceded off a shitty corner kick, which again went through Kai Havertz, by the way, and he mishit the ball on the way through. You see what holds us back? It's the same 2 players. The midfield is the midfield. That's on Tuchel for not recognizing that problem quickly enough. But lack of creativity is our biggest problem, and it's because our 10s are Mount and Havertz, and they will consistently hold us back.
Jeez. That's a
Mount is at least semi-consistent in an 8 position. Havertz we have played everywhere, and it hasn't worked. 8, 10, 9, false 9, on the wing, inside forward, second striker. Hell, we even played DM for 20 minutes under Lampard once.
Oh, did he? I didn't know that. I did not know that. That was going to be my next question. Because I don't understand the defense, and I'm just here just mediating people. But I don't know what he is. And nobody seems to be able to tell me what he is.
He's a bench warmer.
Like,
and that can be half a joke. Half, he is actually better off the bench than starting. When he starts, it's genuinely atrocious. He came on against that meaty Costa Rica side, bag 2. He came on against West Ham, scored the winner. I would rather him come off the bench, but then again, our most expensive signing on the pitch is on the bench. So that shouldn't even be his position. He's just not good enough. He's shit. He's one of our worst ever signings. Worst ever. For the price tag, for the output, for the big moments. Actually, no, I'll take out the big moments because everyone will say that Champions League final.
Well, that's the one big moment, though. Has he got any other significant moment?
He hasn't been a £72 million player consistently.
That's
not at all.
That's fair. Has he? And so someone said, so he's a Chicharito. No, he's not a Chicharito. Don't do that. Don't disrespect Chicharito.
Hernandez was clinical. I had to fucking watch that dickhead be clinical for years against my club. He ain't the same. He ain't the same.
If Havertz had Hernandez's movement and finishing, different story. We're not gonna do that to Chicharito. Let's not do that. Let's not disrespect Chicharito or call him.
I wish he was as good in the box as him. Fucking hell, man.
And I was gonna say on Havertz, because he knows he gets criticized a lot. For me, rightfully so, but he knows he gets criticized.
He just waffles about his position. He's like, I can play anywhere in the front 3. Yeah, but what are you good at in the front 3? That's the real question, my friend. I can play as a 10. I can play as a 9. You're not good in any of them. We're not asking what position are you. We're asking what you do. Like I could tell you I'm a 10, I'm a 9. I can play on the wing, but I'm shit.
What do you do in the 9 or the 10
Right.
or on the wing?
Right.
Yeah, you have to go do something. You have to have
what you do as a 10 because you don't create, you don't keep your head up, you have tunnel vision, and the only thing you bring me from that position is that little RB plus B finesse shot into the top left. That's all you give me. As a 9, you are so shit at 1v1s. It's not even funny. You can't hold the ball up, can barely link up play. As a winger, you can't take players on. You can't cross because, again, you have no vision. As a midfielder, you have no defensive awareness. You can only run with the ball in space. You do nothing in tight spaces. And God help you if you get pressed. So what do you do? Nothing other than drop onto the floor in a 50-50. You're only good if you receive a header. That's it.
So he's just good for airs. He's just good for.
He is Alvaro Morata.
Jesus, he's Alvaro Morata. Is he? Would you say he's worse than Alvaro Morata?
I don't know, because at least with Morata, you just had Aspi literally spamming the same ball into the box for him. So there was that. I don't know. I don't know. Because Morata's better now, but Morata at Chelsea was genuinely Havertz.
He just wasn't.
Genuinely Havertz.
No, that's fair. And I was speaking on that because, like you said, his criticism of him, and then he is waffling, which just adds fuel to the fire. When a player is at your club underperforming, all you, as a fan, you want him to do is perform. Like, shut us up with, like, don't talk back. I've heard it with Maguire, and I've seen it with Kai Havertz.
You seen after the West Ham game? Shushing the haters and everything. I was going to say that. Zero GNA in the next 5 matches. Fucking brilliant. Yeah, Paul, you're right. He is good at annoying me. That's the only thing he's consistent at.
He is. So on Kai and Mal, we spoke on. Is there actually, this is a question I've got for you. Is there any other players in the side who you feel not as responsible as them, but very much responsible for Chelsea underperforming? Because Mount and Havertz are like top of your list, which I think is fair. But is there anyone else you look at and go, you've completely underdelivered, whether it's for your price tag, whether it's the hype you had coming into the club, whether it's the praise you receive from players? Is there anyone else? Like, even if it's injuries, is it performances, maybe it's position? Anyone else you look at? It might be more than one player, or it might be none.
Mendy, I think. Probably just Mendy.
Mendy, okay.
The midfield, we already know the problems with the midfield. Jorginho's declining, Kante's declining, Kovacic just isn't fit enough. We know those issues. I'm not really that annoyed about it. I'm annoyed that we didn't address the midfield in the summer. The players, it is what it is with them. I don't think they are holding us back because their application is shit. I just think they are in a decline. The defense will be fine. I don't really have too much worries about the attack. I mean, the defense. Koulibaly hasn't really had the best starts, but Syria has a much slower league. I'll give him time. But Fana, I hope he isn't injury prone, but it's not really looking good for him. Cucurella, I think, is a quality player. Chilwell, I think, is a quality player. Chalobah's been our best centre back.
Yeah,
it's just Mendy for me. Mendy's drop off has been ridiculous, and I remember hearing when it initially started, it was because he lost a lot of motivation after not winning Goalkeeper of the Year, and he was robbed. Fair enough. But he needs to pick his head up because his form has dropped considerably all season. All season.
Fairs.
So, yeah, he's the only one that really stands out. Galib, I see what you're saying with Sterling. And
I was going to get to that afterwards.
I'm in two minds with him, really, because he was asking to be the main guy, and he isn't really a main guy sort of player. But as a player, I don't think he's necessarily held us back or is a major problem for us. I think he's one of our least issues. Like, he's still making he's still making chances consistently per game, despite having worse players around him. He was carrying this squad under Tuchel when we played him in a much better position. I think, his form under Potter hasn't been good enough. It really hasn't. I'm not going to defend it. I've wanted him benched for Pulisic for a while now. But I think if you surrounded him with better players, you would get a much better player too. Sterling to me is the last one of our issues. You could say responsibility, and fair enough, but if I compare it to Mount, if I compare it to Havertz, if I compare it to Mendy, it's not there. It's not there.
Yeah. So the main issues, like you said, there seem you're cool with the defense. Mendy's clearly an issue and it's fallen off a cliff. And you mentioned that rumors are saying because he didn't get goalkeeper of the year, his motivation fell off. Kepa's not good enough defensively. Obviously, you've signed Koulibaly, who's new. Yeah, you got Thiago Silva there. Fofana, who's injured, but you got Chalobah, who's played decent for you lot. You've got Reece James, of course, Chilwell. You've got Cucurella, who's also new. But your midfield is very, very much a problem as well. Because you mentioned it. Jorginho declining, Kante injury prone and declining, Kovacic injury prone. So it seems you need, if you're looking at this through the span of your team, you need a goalkeeper. You could argue a centre back, 2 free midfielders, and a couple tens, depending on what formation you are playing.
Another striker with Brozier out injured as well.
Striker as well.
I'd say wing back depth too because of Reece James. As soon as Reece James left, our performance has got considerably worse. And even then, it wasn't great while he was there.
Yeah. So then where do you stand with, and there's people who were against him before he even got the job, because Tuchel seemed to be loved by the majority of your fan base. This is from the outside looking in, helped your squad overachieve, helped you lot win the Champions League, etc., etc. Well, then obviously when he got sacked and what happened with the ownership, we won't go over that. But in regards to Graham Potter, I've heard many fans I've spoken to, and I've heard fans on your channel as well say they didn't want him. They were Potter out before he even got the job. And currently watching of the small sample size they have, they're not fans of Graham Potter. Where do you stand on Graham Potter yourself? And where do you stand with people who are Potter out in the early stages?
I think people just don't like Potter because of the lack of experience. And I get, but managers have to make the step up at some point. I think for me, he's a quality manager at Brighton. He's done well wherever he's been at. Chelsea, it does look a little bit too big for him right now, but I expect his confidence in the role to get better the more he stays in it. And the club's obviously going to back him. They're going to give him at least a year or two to build the squad in his image. And the squad is the bigger issue for me than the manager anyway. So I'm more than happy to give Potter a bit more time as a result of that. Right. I think as a manager, he's definitely made mistakes, but he's done good things as well while he's been here. He's stabilized the ship a little bit, but the ship was sinking anyway. It's not good enough. Potter, I believe, can make a good squad, and I believe he can do it with limited funds as well. Brighton have had much better transfers over the last 5 years than we have.
That is very much true.
And I also understand as well, Potter isn't bringing a lot to the table for a lot of people to be convinced by as well. So if you're critical, I get it. If you're Potter out, I don't get it. Because no other manager's getting better out this side. You could have Guardiola. He ain't making top 4 of this squad. This squad is the least cohesive in the top 10. So I don't expect Potter to work miracles.
That's a damning indictment still. That is a damning indictment. And we'll go to, and we will get to continue to get your questions in, people. Don't worry about that. We will answer them towards the ends. But my little bro says here, if you were Graham Potter, would you buy any players? And if so, who would you sign? So is there any players in terms of, even if you can't name a player like by name, at least position wise, who would you go out and we can say January, so we can say next month. I can also say the summer as well, and get rid of. So you're in charge of the recruitment. Realistically, what would you do? So say you could get, well, it's capable because you lot spend big money. You spent 300 M's in it. So 300 M's could bring you 7-8 players. So name them. So say you could bring 7-8 players in, get rid of 7-8 players. What would you do?
I think for me, midfield is first. We need at least 2 new midfielders. Wing back depth, there's plenty of options there. You could look at Malo Gusto, you could look at Frimpong, Kyle Walker-Peters. Dumfries if he was cheaper, but he's like 30-40 mil, and I don't want that for him. Midfield, there's Rice potentially. Bellingham I'm not interested in. I think he costs too much. Quality player though, but I think he costs too much personally. Enzo Fernandez, if there was a possibility, I'd love us to go in for him. Even a Frankie de Jong potentially. Like, I know there's a lot of different profiles and midfielders that we're saying, but we need a lot of different profiles too. So it all just depends on which one's available out of the lot. Goalkeeper, maybe a Diogo Costa for me. Unai Simon potentially. Martinez, I'm 50-50 on, but not really.
Martinez, no?
Especially from what Galib's been showing me recently as well. I'm not really into him.
Right, what's he been showing?
Like the XG on Martinez is not good. It's not good. He concedes a lot of very savable shots. So I'm not really as big on him as possible as I was before. Strike, like we could go in for Vlahovic potentially, but it's still not going to change anything until we get more creators. Creators, I'm not really too sure about because it depends on who's in the market. We're looking at Zaharan potentially, but I don't know how quickly he assimilates into the Premier League. João Felix, I'm in two minds about.
Somebody asked about João Felix, so we'll go to that as well. What's your thought? Yeah, what is your thoughts on João Felix?
Too much like Havertz, really, for me to put too much into him. If he was on loan from January, I'd bring him because I think it's like you could just test out the car and see if you like it. And if he doesn't work, you just send him straight back. But quality player, I think he's more creative. I think he has a better finishing technique, but the physicality isn't there. And he's got the same struggles that Havertz does where people don't really know where to put him. So I don't know if we need that specifically.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fully fair. Big up to C1 in the cut. Large up everyone who's locked in. Make sure you bumping up them likes, people. Subscribe to the channel. We'll go through some of the questions as well. Chucker says, hey, Lewis, with the recent history of shit signings from Bundesliga, do you think Nkunku won't follow the same trend?
No, and for a couple reasons. Number one, like, we're not doing what the old regime's doing and just buying players because we see an opportunity. Havertz was a board signing. Lampard didn't ask for him. He just got given him. Timo Werner, he kind of warmed up to him a bit more, but again, put on his plate too. And Nkunku has been analysed through Todd Bowley's system. Potter wants him. The new technical directors want him in as well. He looks better technically than Werner and Havertz do. He's a better Deadpool specialist than the pair of them. You could argue his finishing's better. Chance creation's better. Needs some time to adjust. I agree with that, but I don't think he'll follow the same trend, no. Because we're not just buying him for the sake of buying him. We're buying him to fit into what Graham Potter's vision for the new squad is.
Oh, okay. That's fair. That's fair. Because I think people do put too much stock in players we sign from this league are poor. No, you're just making bad signings from that league because Haaland's just come from the Bundesliga and look fine. And even if you put Haaland,
it all depends on the system.
Yeah,
that's why I even say Premier League proven's the biggest buzzword that makes no sense because it doesn't matter if you know the Premier League. It matters what the system is. It matters what your role is. That's why you got Sterling in here, and Sterling's struggling, but he's Premier League proven. No, that doesn't matter. He was fine when he was in Tuchel's system, and he was struggling in Potter's system.
That's a very valid point. That is a very, very, very valid point. Yeah, and even Galib said it. Yeah, the other league tax. I think it is an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
I really believe it is. So then, because
I do believe there's truths to it, but it doesn't mean anyone from the Bundesliga shit as soon as they come to the Premier League.
That's what I'm saying.
It's just time to adjust. Much more open league. It's harder to deal with tighter gaps like the Premier League gives you. Same thing with Serie A. Much slower league. It's harder to adjust to the intensity and the quickness of the Premier League. It's just like that.
No, that's 110% fair. I fully believe that. And what I was gonna say is because the way you've answered the questions and you're already read off this season. What's the goal for Potter next season? So let's say, for instance, you do move some of the players on who you want to see moved on. Potter gets more of his players in, and you see him implementing his system and his style. What is the goal then for Chelsea next season? And let's say let's say for argument's sake, you are in the Europa League or Conference League. So let's say they're the competitions. You got Premier League, you got Europa League or Conference League, FA Cup and League Cup, of course. What's the goals?
They have to be top four. And not compete for top four either. I want us back in the top four too. I want a trophy as well. Europa or Conference League we should be able to do. Maybe one at the domestics, but the standards go right back up to where it should be. Even though we are aiming for more than top 4, the aim would be to get ourselves back into the Champions League as a bare minimum. That's just the basic requirement. So we would have to be back in the top 4. Anything better just shows an even bigger leap in 12 months than what I would expect. But right now, with where we are with the rebuild right now, I would only really demand top 4. That would have to happen.
So just top 4 and then Europa League or Conference League. All right,
and a domestic trophy too.
When you're looking at the domestic trophies, fair than Graham Potter, because I'm sure you will be judging Graham Potter much more. You'd be much more critical of him once he gets more of his players in, and he's been at Chelsea not for a full season, but he's been at Chelsea for a few more months rather than this small sample size we have currently.
Yeah. Once he's given more time to at least have a window or two to bring in players, once he's figured out a consistent squad, then you can judge the manager a bit more. You can see the decisions that he makes in games. You can see who he's chosen to stick with, who he's chosen to bring in, and who he's chosen to sell. And then you'll have a better understanding of the manager and you can make a better judgment call. Right now, I think it's just way too early. Hasn't even had a window.
Oh, that's fair. Like he's not working with his players. That's fair. Do you think your owners made a massive mistake sacking Tuchel though? And they jumped the gun and should have kept him. All right, go on.
Yeah, I still would have kept Tuchel, but I'll bring him back today if I could. But
you bring him back? Okay.
Like Tuchel was never the massive issue with us. He made mistakes. I said everything that goes wrong with our midfield this season is going to be on Tuchel, regardless, because he's the one who completely ignored that. He had favourites in the likes of Mount and Havertz that he just wouldn't drop. So he had his issues as well, but I still would have trusted in Tuchel and I would have believed in him to build the squad in his image and build the squad that could win trophies. But it's just not realistic now. They definitely jumped the gun on him. I don't agree with them sacking Tuchel or even the reasons for it. I think he deserved this season as a bare minimum. But that's all in the past. That's all done. It's the same vibe as when Jose got sacked both times. I hated that we let him go. I hated that it was all done, and I love the manager, but it's Chelsea. Yeah. Oh, we're used to this. I think anyone still crying over Tuchel now just wasn't here when Mourinho got sacked the first time. That was real heartbreak. I was a fucking 7-8-year-old wondering why we just got rid of the best manager in the world.
Yeah, because you don't know all the intricate details. Now. Yeah, 7-8. Yeah.
I just think it was just one morning he was gone. The random draw against Rosenborg. And then we just sacked him. I was like, what the fuck? We got United away in 3 days. And you sacked Jose. And I'll go to school the next Monday, you dickheads. That's real heartbreak.
A 7-8. Yeah.
Not this shit.
Because you don't understand it at 7-8. You don't get it, people. When you're 7-8 years old, and 7-8-year-olds now will have much more information because they have social media, they have platforms like this. But when you 7-8, when Lewis is 7-8, or I'm slightly older than Lewis when I'm 7-8 years old, we don't have that information. We're not aware. All we know is results. We don't look at anything else. All we looking at when you are 7-8 years old is results, good players, bad players. So when you see a successful manager get sacked, you're like, huh? It makes no sense.
Then we did it again. And I was in college just doing my coursework when I heard the news. And I was with my mate at the time. He was like, I have never seen you more depressed in my life. I was like, we just let Jose go again, bruv. What's wrong with us? I hate these players. I hate the same vibes. Same exact vibes as right now. And you expect me to care that much that Tuchel got sacked. Sorry. I've been there, done that. I don't care. It's Chelsea. It's whatever.
Yeah. No, I fully get where you're at with that. Because you know
Peter, the second time our team weren't cold. I was on the same vibes as the Chelsea fans booing Fabregas and Costa at the next match. Like, you lot got rid of Jose. It was your fault.
Oh, so you blame as a match because you're a match going fan at that point, correct?
Yeah, no. Those players completely turned over Jose. So that's how are you Cesc fucking Fabregas and you have completely forgot how to pass? You cannot even pass 5 yards. Yeah. Diego Costa is missing clear-cut chances for fun. Ivanovic, to be honest, was washed, but I won't say too much. I've never seen such a quick decline in my life. But the midfield falling apart, the attack turning to dog shit, us relying on Willian of all players. No. Players completely turned. And then we beat Sunderland 3-1 the game afterwards, and we were like 2-0 up in 15 minutes. Don't take the piss. They did it deliberately. They did it
That's
deliberately.
liberties. That is liberties and that. And yeah, Peter, I do remember like the Chelsea contingent who are on this channel, people. When Tuchel got sacked, they were in bits. Like I've never seen Peter like that. Like Peter was devastated when Tuchel got sacked. And you know what, Peter? You deserve it. Hold that. You know what I'm saying? You're my brother, but I'm glad it happened. I was saying you deserve that, and safe to see one about
Tuchel didn't even hit me like that. I woke up 10:30 a.m. in the morning to it, and I was just like, all right, I guess I'm going live. What the fuck? But we move.
Because I woke up and obviously we're in the same group chat. The group chat was going crazy. And I was like, huh? What's going on there?
All of my paddlists were waking up at random points in the stream, just coming into my stream. Was like, what the fuck just happened? I was like, bruv, just roll through, man. I don't know what happened either, but we've been here. It is what it is. I've seen Jose sacked twice. This really didn't hit me that deep.
No. And I think that's what it is. As you get older, when you see your team going through things, it's not as bad. I think this is why when it comes to Manchester United, as much as it hurts me what's going on when we've been bad, I've seen worse. That's where it stems from. As bad as Ollie was, I've seen Manchester United not hit the heights at certain times. I've seen all of my favorite players leave the club. I've seen Fergie leave on top of that as well. I've seen Arsenal have success. I've seen now Liverpool have success. Chelsea have success, as well as Manchester City as well. And see one who says Tuchel leaving hurt me differently, man. I'm glad it hurt, man. Hold that, see, man. I'm happy. I'm genuinely happy. It hurt you. It hurt Peter. It hurt Surf. I'm glad. Because when it was me, you lot had all the jokes. That's why. Do you think
I couldn't even joke with you when Ollie got sacked? You were begging for it.
It was such a relief. It was more rather than happiness, it was more relief when that happened. When Ollie got sacked. Like I was nowhere near as happy as I thought it was. Game. And you know what? And Peter will know this. I called it. I was a game off. I called that when we got that run, and it was October when we played. You were in the run. We had City, we had Liverpool, I believe we had Leicester, we had Watford, and we had a couple others. The run was crazy, and I tweeted this out, and the tweet's still there, people. I said, there's no way this manager makes it to November. He was never making it through that. And I was a game off. I called every single result right. This was on a Twitch stream. I wish it was still up. I called every single game right. The only game we won, which was Spurs. Peter will know because Peter was there. And then Watford, like Liverpool couldn't finish the job. Salute to Watford, top Hornets for doing what they were supposed to do, man. Because they finished the job, man. Watford will always have a special place in my heart for doing what they did. Because City couldn't get the job done, Liverpool couldn't get the job done, but Watford did. So I thank them all the time. Shout out Watford, innit? And then we bounced, and then I was free. I actually enjoyed football for a minute. Then it went turned to shit again. And now we back up again. But that's the roller coaster that is football, people.
Yeah, Chelsea will be back up as well. Just as soon as Potter clears out these bums. Until then, nothing is happening. And that's fine. That's fine. I know who the problems are. It's just people, well, parts of this fan base don't want to hear it because, oh, you're not supporting our players. I support the club over these bums. I was here before these players join. I will be here once these players fuck off. I do not care. I don't care. Cry to me about these players like they even know your first name. See if they remember you.
Yeah, no, that's first. And Jonathan says Potter equals Moyes at United.
Nope.
Well, go and talk about it.
Because like as much as we love Tuchel weren't no Sir Alex, so it's not really the same energy.
Yeah,
it's not Moyes coming into into a transitioning squad, a transitioning club of being run 26 years straight by one man. We're literally in transition already. We have a new ownership. We got a new everything. He ain't a David Moyes. If anything, he's an Arteta. That's exactly the way I see it. This is exactly how Arsenal's rebuild is going to happen. Yeah. As much as I hate to say it, that's the blueprint that we're following. So it's going to get worse before it gets better. As long as Graham Potter's signings improve us, that is where I'm going to see the progress.
What I will say is the what's the word I'm looking for? The same thing the thing they all have in common, whether it's Moyes, whether it's Potter, whether it's Arteta, they're all getting their chance at the big time, whether you think it's deserved or not. When Potter moved from Everton to Manchester United, he got his shot at the top level. Potter is now getting his shot at the top level. Arteta at Arsenal is now getting his shot at the top level. Where you rate these and whether you think these managers deserve it is a whole different conversation. But yeah, Potter is deservedly so because he's performed well at every single level he's been at. And that's why, and same with players. If players perform well at a lower level, higher teams. So if you're in League One and performing well, chances are Championship side is going to come looking for you. If you perform well in the Championship, chances are League, you know what I'm saying, at side in the Premier League, whether they're battling relegation or in the bottom half of the table, they'll look at you. And then if you go perform well there, top better sides will a team challenging for Europe. And if you perform there, the top clubs will come in for you. Your Champions League side, your side's chasing titles as well. So that's how these things work.
It's like Klopp going from Mainz or wherever club he went to before Dortmund. Succeeded there. He got given a big break at Dortmund and he built a good squad.
Yes. Absolutely, yes. That's 110% part. Spot on. Peter's saying, and Peter's not a fan of Potter. He says as soon as Potter clears out the bums, he says, what if Potter is part of the bums? So
it's too early to judge that.
Yeah. So are you looking at Potter? Will you give him next season as long as it doesn't get horrifically bad? Will you give him 2 seasons?
Next season, I need to see a development in the way we play and an improvement in position at the very least. For this season, I expect nothing. I expect absolutely nothing. So I can't judge Potter right now. I need to see the players he brings in. I need to see the impact that it has on the team. I need to see how he improves as a manager in terms of press conferences as well, as an example. And yeah, that's going to be how I judge him. I'll judge Potter a lot harsher next season. This season, no. This squad is shit. I'll keep going back to it. Put Guardiola in with this squad. We are not making top 4. So why do I expect Potter to run miracles with this team? Just clear the deadwood, bring in better players. We should see a considerable improvement. And maybe once that happens, he'll get a lot more people on his side. If not, he'll dig his own grave and we'll move on.
That is fair. And Rodman says, big up you, man. Lewis, I enjoy your lives more than watching Chelsea play. And
big
Peter
up yourself, Rodman. Big up.
And Peter's been fearful of this. He said, my fear is letting a man with minimal experience at this level being given a blank check to build some sort of team. There's no guarantee he or Bowley know how to build anything in football. That is true.
I understand the experience argument. If you're worried about the lack of experience, fair enough. But I still don't think that's enough for you to say you want a manager out, especially with the squad that we have. If we had like 2007 to 2009 Chelsea, then I would get it. Because that is a squad capable of winning trophies right there and then. And we shouldn't be relying on someone who doesn't really have that experience at that level. We don't have that squad. We have a squad that won the Champions League 2 years ago based off the manager and the midfield that isn't the same anymore. A defense that isn't the same anymore. So this is a squad with minimal experience in themselves. A lot has changed in this squad too. So I get it. I get the lack of experience, but the squad isn't exactly an elite, one of the best in the Premier League era sort of team. It's nowhere near that. We have to at least see what he can build. And what I've seen him build is he's taken a Brighton side to fighting for Europe when they should be nowhere near it. He knows how to build a squad. He knows how to get the best out of players. His scouting has been better than our scouting. Yeah, so why are we going to act like he's literally, I don't know, who's a bummy manager? Frank de Boer in disguise. No, he's not. He's nowhere near that. As a bare minimum.
Yeah, I think he deserves his shot and his time. And yeah, I think it's fair. Because I wouldn't alleviate him. I think he'll be held accountable short term, but I think next season and the season after, so 2022 to 23 and 23 to 24 is when Chelsea fans will probably get a look. And everybody else actually, is Graham Potter good enough? I legit don't know. I'm unsure. We know he's good enough to level below.
My biggest thing is, though, is everyone would have picked Potter as one of their managers to take over if their manager got sacked.
He makes the list.
If you had brought in Potter after Ragnick, you wouldn't have thought, what the fuck, would you?
That's true. I would look at that very much so and go, all right, we've gone to a step. And ironically, we did that with Ten Hag. It's the same thing. We've gone for a manager who succeeded at a level lower. So, all right, let's see. Ten Hag's in that boat. So you have Ten Hag, you have Potter, you have Arteta, you have three managers.
And even Ten
three of the
Hag
biggest clubs
had
are
a
looking at it.
summer window.
Yes, and he
to
had a
bring
summer
in
window.
players.
We've seen it is, yeah.
And
Like,
you see the impact that one window has done.
Oh, yeah, wonders. Wonders. You know what I'm saying. Yeah. Is he good enough to rub shoulders with elite clubs? Being good enough for Brighton is cute. But this isn't Brighton.
He needs time to prove that.
I think that's fair. I think he needs a fair shot. Because I
All
legit
this is
don't know.
speculative questions that we cannot answer right now. And like I get it. I see the earlier comment as well. Like we can't continue looking at like this until the summer and expect sweeping positive change. Well, that's literally what we have to do. It will be like this until the summer. It's not going to get better. It's going to get worse before it gets better. It's going to feel long. It's going to feel draining. It's going to feel boring. But after the summer, after what should be and has to be a very positive window for Chelsea, we should be in a much better position and we should be able to compete. If not, then I understand the questions. Until then, Potter is not our problem. Our meaty squad is the problem.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Waiting for that. Steve says also Ten Hag has good mentality getting to his players. Chelsea need players with big mentality again. One thing I will say is I think people are not you, Steve, within this, but people overestimate mentality. The same way we spoke about people putting too much stock in players from a certain league being bad or players from a certain league being good. Even with the right mentality, them Chelsea players are not good enough. Give them the best mentality because you know what? The first and foremost thing you need is talent on the football pitch with the football at your feet. Forget mentality. Of course, that helps. Of course, being mentally ready helps. But you can be mentally kill all them attributes. You can be aggressive. You can be influential. You can be a leader. You can die for the badge. You can do all of these things. But if you can't, as a striker, finish, if you can't control the ball, if your movement's not good, I'm saying if you don't have pace, you don't have no power, you're no good. Them Chelsea players, it's not a mentality thing. Even with Manchester United, I use my club as an example. Yeah, people said, oh, it's a mentality thing. No, it's not. Like you could say, would it help? Of course, mentality helps. If Harry Maguire had better mentality, would he perform better for Manchester United? Yes. But does that make him good enough for Manchester United? No. You know why? Because he's not good enough. Too slow. Positioning's not good enough. Not good enough on the ball. Just everything. Not good enough. You just seen him he plays better for England, and we just seen him get dunked on by Giroud. But people don't want to talk about. I've heard nobody mention that. Because the whole conversation before the World Cup was Harry Maguire should go, he plays well for England. As soon as they come up against a competent striker, who's Giroud dunking on? Everybody quiet. I ain't heard Maguire plays well for England since that game. And I'd be here stating these things on a consistent basis. Standards is ridiculous. Yeah.
Peter, I see what you're saying. I want us to win another, but I feel like you contradicted yourself on that one too, because Liverpool literally kind of did the same thing, except they just did it with a bit more of an experienced manager. They took a step back, they let him rebuild the entire squad, and then they went and they won another European club. They had one of the best squads in the league for the last 5 years. It's exactly what we need to do. We need to let one man rebuild the entire squad. I understand the lack of experience argument, but that's the only argument I understand. Everything else points to Potter needing to be given more time to build the squad in his right image.
Okay, no, that's fair. Because Peter's
and nothing is going to change until he gets to bring players in. Can't judge him till then.
Yeah, and Galib says if Arsenal gave the keys for non-experienced manager, gave him 3 years with transfers he wanted, so why are we acting like we're too good for being for rebuilding a team? We need to understand reality.
Exactly. That's fair. They now have a full team that understands one philosophy, and they are top of the league. We have the least cohesive team in the top 10, which is why no manager is coming in and fixing this without being given a window, without being given time, Potter included.
Yeah, because I think even if Potter stayed, you would still need better players.
Exactly. Even with Tuchel, we weren't making top 4. I keep emphasizing to people, under Tuchel, the football has been shit all year.
Yeah, the shit has been bad.
Other than like a handful of games.
Spurs.
Real Madrid away. the Tottenham games, because for some reason we only fucking turn up when it's Tottenham. The cup games against the easiest cup run to the final, by the way. The easiest. Luton, Bournemouth. No, not Bournemouth. Plymouth, Chesterfield, Middlesbrough. Fucking Palace in the semi-final. Those are our only good games. Everything else was crap. Even the Club World Cup final, one of our only high points of this year. We played like shit for 2 hours. Scraped the win off a penalty and a Lukaku header. Come on, man. We haven't played well for ages. Tuchel would not get any better out of this squad than what Potter is getting right now. We were playing like dog shit the last 6 months under Tuchel. Not because of Tuchel's fault, except for the midfield and everything like that. The squad, they are our biggest issue. They are not good enough.
And I think he said that because I thought it was fake, the quote, when I seen we have the same problems because we have the same players. I thought it was a fake quote, but it's actually real.
He said we were going into this season unprepared.
Yeah, that's an eye-opener.
2-3 weeks before the season, we are not ready for the season. And I'm meant to blindly believe we can make top 4. The manager's literally telling me we're not.
Yeah.
It's not happening. It's the same thing with another manager. He ain't going to get any more with it either.
Crazy. Jesus says, do you think the players don't respect Potter due to the lack of success on the pitch?
Yeah, I've heard of a lot of players
talk about
don't rate Potter and they don't understand why Tuchel was sacked. But I don't rate a lot of them either. So feelings mutual, really. And a lot of them won't be here by the end of this rebuild too. So I'm not too fussed about it.
No, that's fair. I was just reading one of the comments as well, and it's just under 70 of you lot locked in. Let's bump up them likes. Make sure you do that. We're going to close out, so get your final few questions in for Lewis on Chelsea. But let's bump up them likes. Subscribe to the channel, Sarcasm City TV. Where else you getting Christmas content like this, people? Because it is now officially Boxing.
Yeah, it's Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas. I still got stuff to go and get, people. So, we move. Like, I'm running around lastminute.com, but here we are. Yeah, my sister hating on my gift giving. I just get this off my chest there. I was gonna tweet this later on. Anyway, I wanted to buy my niece, like a Nerf gun, and it shoots out like foam bullets. Sister wasn't having it. You know what I'm saying? Was not having it. Curse man out.
You don't want to get chased down by them.
Yo, serious. And I was like, I was ready. You know what I'm saying? I was ready.
Right,
I was gonna shoot my mom with it, sister with it. Everybody was getting it. I was gonna shoot my mom right in the face with the Nerf gun and the foam bullet right to the face. But yeah, my sister wasn't having it at all in it. She said, what the fuck is this shit? When she voice noted me. Strong Manc accent and everything. But we move. We move. Let's see what else you lot are saying as well. Peter says, because your new owners, which we'll talk about after this actually. We're letting Todd be ego dictate the direction of our club and dressing up as some necessary rebuild. There were other ways to fix this mess. This wasn't all necessary. I'll let you respond to this in regards to Todd B.
There was a rebuild under Tuchel or Potter, though. There was a rebuild under either of them. That's the. I think Peter's just annoyed because Tuchel got sacked, and I understand it. I really do. He should not have been sacked, especially not the way that he got sacked too. But it happened. I get Bowley has been a little bit naive in the way he's addressed everything. I do think there's an air of naivety around Chelsea too, but I also believe that there is a process and there is a plan that can work. We are building an infrastructure right in front of our eyes. All we need now is a director of football. And everything is sorted. It's just about trusting them to bring in the right players and trusting Potter to be able to raise the club up. But that's, again, we are not seeing change until people and players come in. Until then, it is just going to be shit. Things aren't going to get better. There isn't going to be some magical way to turn things around and to shoot ourselves back into a top 4 race. If we get into a race, fair enough. I don't think we'll win it, but that's the best that will really happen with us.
Yeah, and I was going to say, does it worry you in regards to your new owner? Because you've already said that you disagreed with Tuchel's sacking. So your new owner's landed, spent big money with Tuchel, and then has sacked a manager and done something you wouldn't do, which is a major thing. And now you're trying to build infrastructure. Do you trust him to get the job done, considering he's already made such a major decision that you disagree with? But does it give you hope that the money's there, though, as well?
I think the money's there. I believe the transfers haven't been that bad for us, really. I think there's been a couple where you could have had better options, but we were in a massive rush because we started the window late because of the takeover, and that bled into the transfer window in itself. That I could understand that. I think it's another case of it just being way too early to judge. There has been a bit of naivety. There really has, but I'm seeing smarter moves as well. The infrastructure looks good. It means we're actually scouting, unearthing hidden gems, as opposed to just buying names for the sake of buying names. That's what we used to do. I still like the Potter appointment in general.
Okay.
I just think a lot of things have happened very quick, and it's meant that we've had to make some rash decisions, and some of them haven't been good enough. But it is too early to judge what's been the right move and what hasn't. Way too early to judge.
Oh, I think that's fully fair. And yeah, Peter, I think like you said, he's worried about Todd B with the inexperience and then the infrastructure also being built by somebody who's inexperienced. Todd B then going to trying to find a DOF. He's inexperienced within all these things. Within
the
all
PR,
these
I
things.
agree. The PR is a load of arse. The Ronaldo links, I don't know, because I don't know if that's coming from the club or if that's just people just trying to drum up clicks using Ronaldo's name because it's easy to link him to Chelsea, especially because everybody knows Bowley wants him in the summer. All that I've seen from the club is Potter didn't want him, and we haven't made any pushes to get him since then. Ronaldo wants to move because, of course, Ronaldo wants to move. He'll take anyone in Europe who would realistically want him, but I don't think it's going to happen. If it does happen, then we can revisit everything. We can happily revisit everything, and we can have another conversation about Bowley, because I'm going to look at things from a completely different perspective if Ronaldo walks in through the door. I don't think it's happening, though. So you have to gauge that one by ear. If he comes, then whatever. Then I don't get what Bowley's doing anymore. But that's a big if.
You're
and I don't
against the
think that's
Ronaldo
happening.
one. You're against like most. You're against the Ronaldo
Yeah,
one.
as soon as we got Aubameyang, bringing in Ronaldo is a pointless move to me. We have our goal scorer. All that I've seen now is that creativity is a bigger issue because Mount and Havertz can't create, and Oba's struggling as a result. Now I don't need Ronaldo. It's a stupid move. Doesn't do anything except hold us back, and I can't be asked for Lukaku 3.0 in our dressing room. That's exactly what it would be.
Big up Black Diamond. Do not get your final few questions in. It's going to be hell for Chelsea, and I'm going to love it. Big up Black Diamond. He's a United fan for those that don't know. He says, Peter being the few of us who saw through Ollie early and was demonized until proven right. Jesus, this is actually a decent question here. It says, who are the youngsters that you would promote to the more who are the youngsters that you would promote to first team action?
Amari Hutchinson. That's Haaland's best export, not Bukayo Saka or Smith Rowe. It's Amari Hutchinson. Absolute fucking baller. Brilliant performance against Villa in a friendly a few weeks ago. That's enough for him to be in the squad against Bournemouth. I'd start him personally, but it's not realistic. So I'd rather him just be on the bench. But he has to be part of the first team squad for me. Who else? Lewis Hall, he's already in the squad. Dion Rankings looked good in pre-season. Actually managed to get a goal in that Brentford friendly too, so maybe he would go into the first team squad. That's it. I wouldn't throw too many of them in there, and I don't think any more impressed me. But yeah, those guys.
That's absolutely fair. Galib says AVB or Ollie. Who's worse, Ollie? He's one of the worst managers we've ever seen in the Premier League.
Ollie lasted longer. AVB was on some stupidness as well. How are you going to try and get rid of our best players while they're still in the club? And they literally run the dressing room.
I hear that, but AVB actually got a job afterwards. Did he not go to Spurs? Did he not go to Europe again?
Oh, yeah, he went Tottenham.
He went Tottenham.
Fucked up top 4 there and got sacked 6 months afterwards.
Like, that's what it is. Like, you know where Ollie manages now, people? Some under 14s team. I stated this the entire time.
You're taking the piss.
Yeah, he manages an under 14s team. 100%. I'm not joking, fam.
My gosh.
And I stated this on here. I stated
Crazy.
this on Lewis's channel. I stated this everywhere I live streamed. Once that man gets sacked, he will not get another job he will not get another top job in Europe. I said this, ironically, like the striker we just let go. When I stated the exact same thing and said once he's released, he will not get another top job in Europe. Looks like I was right on both of them. Because where's Ollie? Ollie don't even get linked to jobs. Don't even get linked to jobs. Never mind top jobs. We're talking teams battling relegation. When a manager gets sacked when a team's battling relegation, you can see the betting odds, people. For those that don't know, the Sky will put up the betting odds and they'll have the top 5 or the top 8. All these names never nowhere on the list. You get your usuals, your Sean Dyches, Sam Allardyce, Tony Pulis. All those names are on there. Maybe like a former player and stuff like that. But Ollie's never on there. That's why he manages, under 14s team, people. This is the same guy who people wanted at Manchester United going to head with a Thomas Tuchel of Chelsea, with a Pep Guardiola at Manchester City, with a Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool, with a Carlo Ancelotti at Real Madrid.
Fucking beat in the league.
Yeah, shout out Super Frankie Lampard.
Oh
That's
my
what it is.
God, man's managing an under 14s team.
Under 14s. I think me and you could get a better job than him. I think me and you could go and find a manager under 18s team or something, under 16s. I think we could get a more prestigious
year
job.
9 team, you know.
Under 14s. They got Melina as well. Love to see Melina in the chat. Glad you're all good and health is wealth and everything like that. Good to see you. Yeah. Prime said it there. I was on that tag flawless about all he's under 4. But this is the same guy our fan base hyped up. This is why people, let me just reiterate again why I don't take social media serious. This is why
I'm so glad Lampard got sacked during lockdown. Imagine we had crowds those last few weeks. I know I would have gone to a scrap because we'd be 3-0 down to City in 30 minutes and I'd hear we've got Super Frankie Lampard in MHL.
And that's what it is, because it's a good feeling seeing Frank Lampard at Chelsea because he's proper Chelsea. What about Chelsea's results? That's what people tell Ollie. We don't do that. We don't sack managers. That's not the Manchester United way. That's bullshit. We sack managers. In between the successful period when Fergie got the job in 86, and also from Matt Busby from whenever it was in the 50s, 60s up until 86, Manchester United sacked managers during that period. If we didn't win that FA Cup in 91, talk of the town was that Fergie was going to get sacked. But people don't know these things. That was the talk of the town. I think his name's Mark Robbins, who scored the FA Cup winning goal. And then that sparked it, and then we started winning trophies. But talk is Fergie was going to get sacked. And then people will use that, well, you got 5-6 years. Yeah, but you got 5-6 years in 86. This is not 1986, people. This is 2023.
Yeah, you gotta
Football
be
moves on, it evolves.
That's why next season, my energy to Potter will change a lot more. Because he would have had a window. He would have been able to bring in players. I will now want to see results, and I need to see better football.
And that's fair.
Until then, this squad's shit. I expect nothing.
And Pierre says, Ollie already got a club relegated. Why would he get another respectable job? The thing is, even worse than that, Peter, because managers will get relegated, will get signed. Like Sam Allardyce has been relegated. He'll get a job. I believe Tony Pulis has been relegated. He'll get a job. Ranieri has been relegated. I think he'll get a job. Roy Hodgson, the list goes on. Like, not only has he got a manager relegated, Cardiff say he's one of their worst ever managers. But people still back this guy. You'll still see the odd tweet. People say, oh, we did all the great things all he did at Manchester United Football Club. Excuse me? Well, again, there are people who are, you mentioned it in terms of being a bigger fan of the club than you are the players. I'm a fan of the club first and foremost, Manchester United, rather than I am any manager or any player. Because I will be here before managers and I'll be here after managers. Same way I was here before players, I'll be here after managers.
To the players. That's why I don't care about these fucking bummy player stands. And when their shit players leave, they can fuck off with them. And I can't wait. Another reason why I do not want Ronaldo at my club. If I have to deal with Havertz and Mount stands on a daily basis, you want to throw them CR7 stands in my face too. I would genuinely commit. You already got other stands shoehorning shit players into my lineup. We have people complaining and dropping Oba slander on a weekly basis just because he's starting. I'm good.
C1 says, this is a good question. I didn't even know about this. Lewis, thoughts on the Mendy contract situation?
Oh, yeah, we tried to give that bozo 6 years. So I don't know what we were doing with that one. You know, he had the worst save percentage in the World Cup, by the way.
Did he?
All the goalkeepers, he got the worst.
Yeah.
And we offered this guy 6 years. And you know what the dumbest thing is? He rejected 6 years.
He rejected it.
You're not getting better than Chelsea, bro. You should have signed that shit.
Should have signed
You
that.
fucking idiots. I don't know what he was thinking, man. I don't know what we were thinking as well. Now I'm worried. We'll give anyone 6 years. Fuck me, like we need to sell Havertz in the summer, bruv. Because you know they'll offer him 6 years. I will jump off my flat right now if I even hear a rumor of that bullshit, bruv. Mount on a 7-year deal would be bad enough.
6
But even then, I think his ego might get in the way of that. Because Chelsea said I did see it get reported that Chelsea would sell anyone with their contract near to expiry that doesn't look like they're re-signing. Which is why Kovacic might be leaving. Pulisic might be leaving. Loftus-Cheek as well. And Mount's in there too. At Diamond, I did want Ronaldo when we didn't have a striker. Now we have a striker in Oba. I don't want him. It's as simple as that.
I need that.
If Oba wasn't here, the energy would be the same. It would genuinely be the same.
Yeah, you don't want to deal with Ronaldo stands. They're the worst.
I'm good, so glad. They'll just start infighting Mount and Havertz for not getting enough service. So you know what? I might just sit back and enjoy it, bro. Three of the most unbearable fan bases just beefing with each other.
Yeah, I can't stand stands. Yeah, like Havertz stands versus Mount stands versus Ronaldo stands, people. I'd love to see that from the outside looking in because we stand free now, which why I like, thankfully, about my club.
Threat match.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that is a job.
Slater versus Kurt Hawkins versus Zack Ryder type beat, bruv. Just 3 shit wrestlers, bruv.
Throw James Ellsworth in there as well. You know what I'm saying?
James Ellsworth is the ref.
That
would be the only positive.
That's what it is. Like, because stands are the worst. And I'm glad, like, my club, trying to think. The worst stands man has to deal with is Bruno stands. That's it. But it ain't too bad. Like Bruno stands.
Ronaldo and Pogba stands this summer, to be fair.
Yeah.
And peaceful now.
And Pogba stands, and I'm a Pogba fan, but Pogba stands annoy me. Stands in general annoy me because they can't hear no criticism. They can't hear no criticism whatsoever. Like even Bruno stands, like when I see stuff, and so like all I'm gonna say, people, is if somebody has the greatest players in the world, don't need no stands. If they're delivering on the pitch, everyone knows that. That's why Thiago Silva don't have no stands. That's why Reece James don't need no stands. This is why Casemiro don't have no stands. Eriksen, you know why? Because them man deliver on the pitch.
They just get appreciated by everybody.
Appreciated by everyone because they're performing. Like, why is Bruno playing a match? And I'm going onto my Twitter time. I'm seeing people say, "Oh, people still don't rate Bruno," putting up clips of Bruno. Who are you? Are you trying to convince us? Or are you trying to convince yourself? Like, that's what it is, and that's how I know. Because all the great players I've seen over the years of Manchester United, there was no need to back up anything. There was no need to say, "Oh, what a great game." So we know these men are ballers.
The more you say, I don't know a Reece James stan or a Silver one. The fact's the same.
Exactly. This is what.
Never heard no Eriksen stan. Fucking
Casemiro stan where? Varane where?
Nowhere, bruv.
You know, Varane and Casemiro and Eriksen.
Rashford though, hella
don't need no stan. Rashford hella stans. People saying, "Oh, why all the people who criticize Rashford are eating their words?" No, Rashford was poor for a significant amount of time. That's why I criticized him. It's never personal.
It was the same with Kai, man. He had one good half against Salzburg. Half my DMs are just filled with people saying, "Oh, he's put you in the mud today because he scored. He finally turned up and earned his weekly wage." You have big accounts saying he's fine. He is mudding everyone who's criticized him like he's not been shit for 7 months. And it'll be the same thing again. God forbid he scores once, my mentions will be a mess.
Yeah, I see that all the time.
And I'll be like, bro, he just did his job. I hope he balls out. I hope him and Mount ball out. Because you know what will happen then? I will praise myself for keeping my standards high. Meanwhile, all the other bozos who are going to sit there and say, "Oh, you're in the mud, you're in the mud," you lot were going to be pretending that that player was playing like that for the last 7 months when they were not. And then you're going to act like they're the same player. No, they're not. I kept my standards the same. I praised someone when they reached my standards, and when they didn't reach it, I criticized them. So if Havertz turns it around, if Mount turns it around, I will not be in any mud. I will still be streaming. I won't be giving a shit, bruv. I'll just be glad they're finally earning their wage. and they're
the crazy,
finally not letting my club down like they do every fucking week.
Because the crazy part is you're a Chelsea fan. So if Mount and Havertz are balling out for Chelsea, that's good for you. That's good
You
for
should have
you.
seen what my stream was like, because I did the watch along for the Salzburg game.
Mm-hmm.
Havertz scored. We had like 90, 100 new viewers, all just saying, "You're in the mud. He's mudded you. Shut
He
your
scored
mouth
for your
about
team, though.
Havertz."
He scored for
All
your
this
team.
sort of bollocks.
That's
And all I just said is cool. Give me till the Arsenal game. If he balls out against, if he keeps his form up till the Arsenal game and balls out in the Arsenal game, I'll hold my hands up. Arsenal came. I got 0 apologies after that. 0 apologies.
People go quiet as soon as you're proven right. People, I'm
Yeah.
an advocate for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm a massive advocate for that. Like people go as soon as you're proven right, quiet. Ronaldo,
He's like, he's in his natural position. Cool. Let me see in a big game. Let me see in a game that matters, not social distancing merchants from Austria. Let me see how we do against the top of the league. And what did we do? 2 clear-cut chances to show me vision and creativity. And what did you do? Sky at the Arsenal end.
He did. That was bad.
Thank you.
He could have cut back on the
Thank
right
you.
foot. Yeah.
Thank you for vindicating me and for costing my club another 3 points. You useless bozo. Get out of my club. This is why I don't jump to conclusions after one game. A player like Mount or Havertz could have a 5-game run, and I'm not moved. I'm waiting until I see that form over 2-3 months.
Yeah, because
that is the level that we're meant to be talking about. Absolutely. When you call them generational. I've had to debate for 20 minutes over putting the likes of Havertz in Mbappe debates. And I was like, are you tapped? Are you fucking tapped?
Yo, in the words of Rick James, Charlie Murphy, you know what I'm saying? Cocaine's a hell of a drug. That's all that can do. For those that don't know, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Because he's turned up in big moments. I'm sorry, Mbappe is consistent. Mbappe is consistent over a full season.
Yeah.
He is not turning up with 11 Premier League goals in a season. He is turning up with double that. Yeah. Erling Haaland literally walked into the league and in 8 games had more league goals than Havertz has had in general. Has had more big chances created than Havertz in 3 years. But this is the guy I'm putting in debates. Then you'll go into Mason Mount, a guy who will consistently have more dispossessions than passes completed in a match. And this is the guy who will put in a generational debate. It's stupidness. It's genuine stupid. And we just used the big game argument. That's why I love this Champions League win. It was one of the greatest nights of my life. Fuck me, I hate it right now. Because it's just an excuse.
Everyone just goes back to that. It's like, all right, you did that for us then.
Excuse. For Mendy, for Mount, for Havertz, for fucking Kante, for everybody. And then when you use it for Jorginho, they will say Jorginho got carried by Kante. Yeah. Meanwhile, N'Golo Kante, a guy who everyone hypes for his tackles and interceptions, was beaten in both of those stats by Jorginho in the same tournament.
You preaching.
Make that one make sense.
You preaching to the choir.
He got his hands held by N'Golo because he got 4 Man of the Match awards, which, by the way, is an opinion. N'Golo Kante only outright deserved 2 of them. He deserved the Atletico Madrid one by a mile. He deserved the Real Madrid second leg one by a mile. The first leg could have gone to Rudiger or Pulisic, who had better games. And the final, you could have given that to 8 players. And it would have been legit. Kante, James, Rudiger, Christensen, Jorginho, Kante, Havertz, they all could have won it. All of them. So I don't care about that. Both of them deserved their praise for that tournament. We don't win it without either of them.
But I think that's fair.
Jorginho.
But what you're asking for there is consistency, because it's like people don't realize that consistency and players performing well at a high level throughout a season helps Chelsea win trophies, or puts Chelsea in a much better position to win trophies. You can't go on a 5-game run, 10-game run, 15-game run. You play 50, 60 games a season.
That was
depending
enough
on
for everyone to
say
Havertz's second half of the season is a madness.
Yeah,
no, stop with that. It was a March purple patch against fucking Newcastle, Norwich, and I don't know, some other meaty second bottom half of the table teams. Great. Well, what a consistent 3 months that is. But then I'll sit in Matthew Harding lower. Guess which one of the 3 attackers gets the most stick in there?
Go on, which one? Let us know.
Well, it's not Mount and ain't Havertz. That's for one. Sterling. Every game is Sterling will fucking do something, mate. He's the only one making chances about fucking Sterling. Or did you just completely ignore Mount because I'm not even noticing him on the pitch? How about
People's
Mount do
favourites,
anything
man.
other than half turn and vibes?
People...
How about Havertz do something? But no, let's just blame Sterling.
Because it's easy to blame Sterling. New signing, coming from a successful team, had success in this very league as well. So it's easy to blame him. Does he need to turn up? Yes, but we spoke in depth. I've mentioned it a lot of times how important systems are in football. And when you take any player away, you could argue De Bruyne is City's best player. Look at him without City's system. We just watched him in the World Cup, people. And we watched him perform
Everyone's
poorly
a system player, though.
Yeah, the thing is, most players are. Because that's the way the game has
another
gone.
example. Doesn't really stand out at City, but if you put him in a team where they allow him to free roam and just play the game at his speed, he's a fucking baller. I bring him into the bridge any day of the week, ending in a Y, man. I see great visions in Jack Grealish, but just doesn't fit City's system.
No, I fully hear what you're saying there. And Steve says it's been good seeing Lewis on bringing up good
Big
points.
up, my guy. Big up yourself.
Bill, Steve, man. Hey, we always try and please here on Sarcasm City TV, especially the specials, people. Like, these are one-offs. This is why I won't do these regularly. This is why I only go and get the biggest and best guests. Lewis is included in that. So I will continue. You probably won't get one the rest of this year, but next year, don't worry, people, because this popped off more than I expected it to this series. So I'm going to keep these rolling. And you'll see Lewis on here again. Like, you'll see people repeatedly on here as well.
God of Frogs.
Yeah,
Raheem's still been our best forward, by the way.
So he says, don't get this crap off Lewis. You were wrong about Raheem so far. You wanted him. You bitched and moaned about Timo's wages, etc., and what he did, but Raheem has done less.
Sterling has those wages because Werner was still at the club when he signed. And he just looked at Werner and said, I can do more than him. I need better wages than him. This is exactly why I don't want Mount getting 200, 300k a week, because it does the exact same thing. Like Peter said, he has as many goals in the Prem already as Werner did last season. He is a better dribbler. He is a better chance creator. He has done more than Timo Werner, and he is a better player than Timo Werner. It's not his fault. He is surrounded by shit. And he's had to go into two completely different systems this season. Last of our problems. Genuinely the last of our problems.
Because Peter said it there, and you mentioned it. Sterling has as many goals in the Prem as Werner did last season. What are we doing?
And then the other comment, please, because look what we always go back to every single time. The Champions League. It's the default argument. It is the default argument. Timo Werner did everything in his power to cost us that Champions League. That horrific miss against Madrid in the first leg. The second leg where fair play he scored, but seriously, even Timo Werner is not missing that. Missing 3 clear-cut chances in the first half of the Champions League final.
Yeah.
Let's not ignore all of that because of one bummy little decoy run. Werner did not win us the Champions League.
Yeah, I think
he was a part of the team that won the Champions League, and he was the only player in that starting 11 that managed to still look like shit.
I think, man, what's it called? Yeah, man, are trolling. Like, the fact that you will be a Chelsea fan and defend Werner.
If Rudiger didn't block Foden's shot, bruv, the words that would be dropped about Werner on the timeline that night would have had so many people banned. So many people banned.
All I'm saying is, the God of Frogs, I don't know why, as a Chelsea, I'm presuming you're a Chelsea fan, why you would defend Timo Werner. Like, even whether you rate Sterling or not is not, like, what I'm talking about. I'm saying, Timo Werner's, like, defending him. I don't understand. I'm at a loss. You know what I'm saying?
The only thing I rate about Werner is that he realized he was shit and it's not working, and then left for half the price. Wow. Thank you for taking a pay cut and saving us. Wow. You were still a terrible player at Chelsea. Terrible football player.
I don't get the defending of Werner, who's not good enough. Like, we know this. Like, everyone knows Werner's not good enough. But Each to their own, I suppose. As I get to this, since you asked and you're a regular as well, Flawless, are you concerned about restarting our season without Varane and Martinez at the back? Won't be able to get the momentum with our best players from early on. No, I'm not that concerned because I still believe Lindelof and Maguire, for the most part, are good enough to get us by the games we're in. As long as they're back for Barca, I am not fussed. Because like I've said before, the Premier League, and this is just me speaking, and I've said this the entire season, is the bottom of the priority list for me as a Manchester United fan. Because it's the trophy we are in to win the least. It doesn't mean I want us to throw games. Of course I want us to win games and get points and have that continuity factor in terms of the style, in terms of systems, in terms of formations and players, etc. But if we were to, when we played Villa back to back, and we lost the Premier League game and won the Carabao Cup game, I wouldn't reverse that if I could. I said the entire time before that week, and everyone was running bants and jokes, good evening jokes, because we got beat by Villa. The most important game is the Carabao Cup one. I said I would have played, if Ten Hag would have played a weaker side in the league game and played a stronger side in the League Cup game, I would understand. That's where I'm at with it. So, this is why I don't worry. And I think, is it Martinez? I think Martinez is suspended for the first game against Barca. So Varane needs to be back for that. And I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be all right. That's what I would say.
Yeah, you guys will be fine for this season anyway.
Yeah, I think we'll be all right. That's how I'm looking at it. And hopefully go in January.
Tottenham, I could see drop out.
Possibly. But even with the top four thing, if we scrape there, and you mentioned it, if Manchester United scrape top four, do I really want to? I'm not really fussed because we should win the Europa League. So we should be in the Champions League anyway to me. Yeah. We should be.
If anything, that's the better route.
That's the better route. And I've said this from the jump. If we don't win the Europa League, something went seriously wrong in my eyes. People can say what they want. Something went seriously wrong if Manchester United don't win that competition. Especially
even if you guys drop out against Barca.
We should be. I'd be pissed if we drop out against Barca. I've watched them.
Maybe it's just a name value then.
Yeah, because and also as well stylistically, the way Barcelona play suits us down to a T. Possession football, high line. We play our best football without the ball.
Team.
We have Eriksen who can make third-person runs and find passes. Bruno does the same. We have runners in Rashford, Garnacho, Anthony, Martial. Anthony the Brazilian, and Martial the Frenchman people. Stylistically, you know what I'm saying? We fit the bill against them. Honest books nuts.
I see it.
Yeah, like that's how I'm looking at it. Dembele versus Shaw part 2, I'll be there no matter what. AC1, that's if Dembele's fit.
His stock back up, bro. He had a horrific end to the World Cup.
Yeah, it wasn't high anyway. People were hyping him up again. A guy who, if you check his goal return, is probably as bad as Werner's at Chelsea, but we moved. People don't want to discuss that. How many goals did Werner get? Was Werner at your club for 4 years?
No, thank God. No, he's only here for 2.
Was it 3 years? He was only here 2 years. And how many league goals did he get?
Like 12.
Shit. He got 12 league goals. He matched Dembele for Barcelona, who has 4. He has 12 league goals in the last 4 years for Barcelona.
Fucking hell.
Hey, when we talk about it,
we were linked with him. He would have fit in like a glove.
You would have fit in like a glove, like I said, innit? Dembele gets hype and he putting up Werner numbers. Werner doing better. If Werner was at Chelsea for 4 years, he would have got more than 12 league goals.
See what I'm saying? He's got good creativity in him, though.
Yeah, this is what I keep hearing.
And Diamond.
He played 21 league games last season. It's not.
I might need to see how many assists he had.
Played 21 league games last season.
Because if the assists are saying something, then maybe I can see the vision.
People that assist in it. Like I say, you have to go to GNA. I watch him. He's not that good, and he don't play enough. He played 21 league matches last season. 38. I'm saying. Wait, who what's it called?
Hey, yeah, who muted God of Frogs?
Who muted you? Hey, don't mute God of Frogs, man. God of Frogs, I apologize.
Yeah, we don't agree, but like he ain't said nothing.
Yeah. God of Frogs, I apologize. You know what I'm saying? Let me know who muted you. I'm saying, did he? Black Diamonds.
I didn't agree with the Werner tape, but I wouldn't have timed.
No, hey, mods, do not. You know what I'm saying? Time people out just because you disagree with him because he wasn't rude. So I apologize, God of Frogs. Yeah. So I apologize. I do on that moment. But yeah, people talking about him, being, you know what I'm saying, creative and that. Man don't play enough. He played 21 league games. The same thing, ironically, C1 was in the group chat today talking about Kovacic isn't available enough. Ironically, people, C1 was in the group chat, said the same, and I said, so now availability is important now. But when it's Dembele, availability is not important. Did Kovacic play more than 21 league games for Chelsea last season?
Probably not.
So it's pretty much close.
He was injury prone. He's always been injury prone with us. Like
And
he never really does more than 25.
There we go. So it's about the same. Dembele, one of the best right wingers on the planet. If he's one of the best, that shows you where football's at. If he's one of the best right wingers on the planet, it shows you where football's at. Dembele is one of the best right wingers on the planet and has 12 league goals in 4 years. Right wingers is in the toilet. And I think about it, how many good right wingers are they? You got
That's
Salah.
what I was thinking of right wing options. And I'm thinking, shit, I don't really know.
Yeah, you got Salah.
I'd rather just
Mahrez.
give Amari Hutchinson a run out. Fuck it.
So I said, fairs, but this guy,
big
jokey,
up,
you know.
New member.
Hey, big up Gordon Frogs for becoming a member as well. He is a Sarcasm citizen. The link for the membership is in the pinned comment. Don't forget, the link for Lewis's channel is in the title. It's also underneath in the description for every single live stream we do on here as well. So make sure you go and subscribe to Carefree Lewis G.
Oh yeah, and I remember you said earlier, you said you would debate this stuff by voice. If you ever want to hop on one of my streams, just DM me, bro.
There you go,
Gordon. I'm sure you got my Twitter or Instagram or something. So just drop me a message, and if you want to hop on, I'll send you the link. But yeah, that's just for future. That's just for future.
Also, and when me and Lewis do fan calling,
we're doing a Bournemouth preview tomorrow as well. So
there you go.
Yeah,
and we'll be doing in the new year, people, fan calling shows on the Twitch as well. You know what I'm saying? We'll be doing fan calling shows on the Twitch. Me and Lewis will be hosted on the Carefree Lewis G Twitch.
We're bringing them
we'll
up.
Be doing fan calling shows at Agenda FCs and all that. And see people, because this is how me and Lewis are. That's why even the Sarcasm City special turned into like a Q&A. So you lot continue to get the questions in as well, because there's still 80 of you lot locked in, which is sick. Share this, man. Let's try to get us into triple
hit the
digits.
Likes as well, guys. Hit the likes.
Availability is sometimes the best ability. Why do you think Mason Mount out so much, even though he's horrible? Cross-country player trying to play our beautiful game. It's a mix. Like I said, you can be the most talented player in the world. But if you play 5 games a season, if you play 21 league games a season, if you have 12 league goals in 4 years, what is your productivity? I'm about productivity. Availability is key. But you can't be available and terrible. You need to be talented. And why do people ask like I'm asking?
That's why people call Mount another Willian, because it's the same thing. Meaty player with no output, relies heavily on work rate, and never fucking gets injured, so you don't rest.
This is it. Like, and C1, I even hate it. I'm talking about, the beautiful game to me is productivity. I want to win trophies. Dembele's done nothing of note for any team he's at. I mean, he's done nothing of note for Barcelona since he's been there. He's helped them do nothing. They just went out in the group stages in a group with Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, and Victoria P. If that was Manchester United, you'd be here slandering us. And if Sancho was involved in that, you'd be here slandering Sancho. So what's the difference because it's Dembele? This is the double standards I'm talking about, people. And C1's my guy, and he's running jokes, and I'm running bants, but it's facts. If Manchester United this season were in a Champions League
because he's more aesthetically pleasing.
Yes, again, aesthetics.
If players look good, you're more entitled to back them. That's half the Havertz argument.
Like
aesthetically pleasing, looks good on the ball.
And people like the aesthetics. You know what I like? Aesthetics, but I also like availability and productivity, because that's what brings you trophies, people. I want to see my team be successful. So I reiterate, if Manchester United this season in the Champions League, we're in a group with Inter Milan, Bayern Munich, and Victoria P, and we finish third, C1 would be here slandering Sancho for his poor performances, and rightfully so. I'd be slandering him amongst the others. So I watch them games. We did watch alongs, people. You can go back and check them. I said from early they wouldn't make it out of that group. It's not solely on him, but people are saying he got all these assists and he's this. Where are these assists against Victoria P? Where were these assists against Inter Milan? A Lukaku-less Inter Milan, people. They couldn't get out of the group. And we go dump him out, and Dembele gonna do nothing. Dembele gonna get locked up by Shaw or get locked up by Malacia or whoever's over that side. And then we'll hear excuses. He ain't doing nothing.
He's got to have a big turnaround if he does, because his stocks are low.
No, we seen him in the knockout rounds. You know what I'm saying? We see them in the knockout rounds. And yeah, man, big up to God of Frogs, like I said, for becoming a member. But yeah, you lot mods, don't
Big up,
time out, man.
Gigi.
Them. But yeah, link is in the pinned comment for the membership as well. Peter talking about Belgian league. But yeah, I think we're gonna close it. Hey, actually, no, there's one more question for you. There we go. Paul
Oh.
says, well, two. Well, but what formation do you think is best for Chelsea this season?
4-3-3, maybe. But I don't trust our midfield with whatever formation we put in, so it's
Okay.
whatever's best. I think we can defend well on a 4. This Thiago Silva can't play in the back 4 thing's an absolute myth. Chalobah and Koulibaly can fight over the last spot. I think right now Chalobah deserves it, but Koulibaly will ball out for Chelsea. I'm sure of that. The midfield, whatever 3 you want to throw in there is whatever you want to do in it, but I'm not going to have any faith anyway. Put Aubameyang in the middle, Pulisic on the left, Sterling on the right, or interchange the two, and go and try scrape a couple wins and get back into top 4. But that would be our best route. But I still don't have a lot of faith or confidence. Maybe 2 midfielders would help, but yeah, I don't see it. This whole season's a write-off.
There we go. All right, we're gonna close on that note. Yo, Lewis, big up for joining as always. You know what I'm saying? It's always blessed having you
Every
on.
time.
Let them know what you've got coming up, anything you want to add, etc., all that good stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a Bournemouth preview today around 3 p.m. because there's no point doing it Christmas Day, and Boxing Day is just going to be filled with fixtures, so that's pointless. So yeah, we'll do the Bournemouth preview tomorrow. So check that out, people. 3 p.m. will be live, and yeah, Carefree Lewis G, Chelsea Fan TV. Big up everyone, and it's been a great chat. Big up, man.
Yeah, man, enjoyed this. I have enjoyed this. Yeah, people, I will be updating the live stream schedule after this show. I'll update the live stream schedule so you know all the shows that is coming up from Monday from Boxing Day onwards. Obviously, I'll be doing watch-alongs on Boxing Day, but we're going to continue to provide you content throughout the Christmas period and all the way up until 2023. And then 2023, we upping it, people. The levels is going up. You're going to get more streams, more content, better streams, better content as well here on the YouTube and on the Twitch. So make sure you subscribe. We're going to hit 5K soon, people. We are going to reach 5K soon. Early in the new year, we'll reach 5K, probably February, March times. So yeah, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you are new, hit the notification bell. Like I said, check out the upcoming live stream schedule. Go follow the Twitch as well. Follow the Sarcasm City TV Twitch, because if you don't, then you're only getting half of the content. It's like watching BBC One, but you don't watch BBC Two. Or you watch Sky Sports News, but not Sky Sports Main Event. And the list goes on. Or in the wrestling terms, you watch Raw, but not SmackDown. Like, no, you're only getting, if you're a fan of the product, make sure you get over there as well, because we got so many shows across different, like football. Obviously, we're here talking Chelsea United, but we talk other Premier League sides. We talk Premier League, we do Europe, so obviously Champions League watch-alongs, we do the Europa League watch-alongs. Over on the Twitch, you have NBA watch-alongs, you have NFL as well, you got FIFA 23, the pro clubs, you got fan calling shows, plus more. So check all of those things out. What we got coming up tomorrow? I might get back in time to do a late Q&A, people. So I'll bring you lot like a late
Christmas
Eve
Q&A. Let's go.
Yeah, Christmas Eve / Christmas Day in it. I'm trying to get back because I got some work to do, so I'm trying to get back. So if there is a Q&A tomorrow, it'll probably be like 1 a.m. But everyone will be inside, so I'll probably do it to give back to you lot. So we'll run it. Let's spend, I don't know, the start of Christmas Day together, people. That's what we're gonna do. Well, yeah, it will technically be Christmas. Jesus, I gotta get my act together, people. I'm just remembering what I gotta do today. But love to everyone that was locked in. And yeah, Black Diamond mentioned it there. Last year, Christmas, Timo held down the NBA stream. On Christmas Day, multiple NBA watch-alongs going down on the Twitch from 7 p.m. I think the first game is, which is the Lakers versus the Mavericks. But yeah, Merry Christmas as well. Blessed holidays to everyone who's watching. Big up to Jesus, who says, great show, lads. Hey, large up everyone that has locked. And I almost forgot. I actually almost forgot. I'd read people. Sorry, more. I know it's a lot of information, but yo, we're doing what we do. That's how you know we're growing. Make sure you check out... Exactly. www.thelatesttrends.net. It's Christmas Eve, people. It is Christmas Eve. So if you don't know what to get, I'm presuming they do next day delivery. You may be stuck for what to get for your partner or your kids. Check out thelatesttrends.net. online designer clothing store. It's got men's wear on there, female wear on there, kids wear. You can see all of the brands, but it's brands at cheaper prices. So not only are you getting top designer clothing, you're also getting it at cheaper prices, so you can save yourself some money back there. You can see they got the Nikes on there, the Nike Kicks, they got Jordans on there, but you got Prada, you got Stone Islands, you got Off-Whites, Palms Angels, Versace, Armani. The list goes on. So make sure you check out www.thelatesttrends.net. The link for it is underneath in the description. I'm going to drop it in the comments, so make sure you check that out. Follow him on Instagram as well, thelatesttrends.net. But you should already be following me anyway, and you can find Lewis, all of Lewis's socials, and then you can find latesttrends.net. But yeah, man, I like all of you lot, man, for always supporting. But yeah, Lewis, again, anything you want to add, and bless for coming on again.
Big up, everyone. Hit the like button and all of that. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. And yeah, big up. Have a good Christmas, my guys.
Make sure you do, people. But yeah, this has been another Sarcasm City TV Sports special with Carefree Lewis G live on the Sarcasm City TV YouTube. Big up for tuning in.